I am the head and you are the legs. Natural law dictates the legs blindly follow the head, but there may come a time when the leg has more importance than the head. Their goal is not to keep an individual alive, but the spider. This is how the Phantom Troupe is meant to function, but as we see throughout the series, the spider is nothing more than a failed theory. So if you find yourself entertained at any point during the video, then consider liking, subscribing and ringing that bell. Anyway, on with the video. Now, as I alluded to in the intro to this video, what I want to discuss in this video today is the Troupe, both in theory and in reality, as how the Troupe is meant to function and how the Troupe does function is the key in my mind to understanding Chrollo and his current dark spiral. So as we know, the Troupe was founded by 8 people, or maybe 9, looking at you, founding member thinks, who wasn't actually there for the founding of the Troupe, and it was created for the purpose of enacting vengeance on Saras's killer, and those like them. Even though the Troupe are without a doubt abhorrent people, and a lot of their actions are just downright despicable, much of what they do is for the sake of Meteor City. They became symbols of terror, the ultimate villains in order to protect Meteor City. If it's under the protection of the world's most dangerous criminals, who would dare step foot there? Given Sheila may have had some part in the massacre of the Curta, it is possible that massacre was done for more than just some pretty looking eyes. It's like how although yes the Troupe stole all the treasures of the underground auction, more importantly they severed the relationship between the Mafia and Meteor City. They kept their home safe from the 10 Dons and their gangs. Now, as good intentioned as these actions may be, let's not forget that the Troupe are truly despicable people, and the most despicable of them all is their leader, Chrollo. But Chrollo is one who seems to have shed all his human emotions, all his morality and human decency. He gave up his identity as Chrollo to become the boss. Given he was nominated for the position, there likely is great weight on his shoulders to fill this role. And so, as a former actor, he lives up to the role, shaping himself into the perfect boss to enact their mission. And this is where I think the first of Chrollo's misconceptions comes in, because he expects the same of the rest of the Troupe. Well, not expects exactly. In his mind, the legs of the spider are all fully committed to the Troupe. It's why, as he says to Uvo, there's no reason any of the legs would betray the spider, because he can't even conceive why any of them would betray the spider. The legs can't be brought, they are dedicated with 100% loyalty to the Troupe. That is what he truly believes. But as we know, humans are not that simple, and 100% loyalty does not really exist. Now, from Chrollo's dialogue, it does seem like he has a belief in destiny, or doesn't believe in free will, is why he says Judas wasn't a traitor, because he doesn't believe Judas had a choice in the matter. And so an extrapolation of this line of thinking could be that he thinks the members of the Troupe are destined to follow the spider, that the spider as a concept trumps any individual beliefs they may hold. They are all part of something bigger than themselves, their lives are less important than the goal of the spider, and given he genuinely does not hold his own life highly, he actually believes this. In the same way he would let himself, the head, die for the spider's survival, he believes the legs would do the same without question. It's why, although he was saddened by Uvo's death, he did not let it weigh on him, because Uvogan's role was the group's frontline fighter. It was his role to fight their enemies to protect the other legs, and so he died enacting that role. As long as the spider survives, then that is all that matters. It's as Franklin says, the Troupe member who, in my opinion, is on the closest wavelength to Chrollo. The worst case scenario is the head dying and then the legs too. It doesn't matter if no founding members remain, if the spider persists then that is okay. But the thing is that this may be how Chrollo sees it, how the spider should work in theory, but in reality, it doesn't. When Chrollo was taken hostage, it should have been obvious what to do. They should have all attacked the chain user as one. If the head and a leg die as a result, that's a small price to pay. But did that happen? Of course not. Instead, the Troupe almost had a civil war because a lot of people in the Troupe did value Chrollo's life. They didn't want him to die. The Troupe may in theory be United Spider, doing whatever is necessary to keep moving forwards, but what it is in reality is a found family for the lost and the misunderstood, with Chrollo being the linchpin that keeps this family together. No shit half the members didn't want him to die, because even if in theory the spider can move without a head, to them Chrollo is the Troupe. Without him the spider would die. It's an insult to Chrollo's way of thinking and the concept of the spider, but it doesn't change the fact that's how many of the legs feel. And this difference in opinions begins the destruction of the spider from within. Phaeton literally thinks Maki, Paku and Quarterpiece are being mind controlled by the chain user, just because they care for their friend. Meanwhile, Pakunoda betrayed Chrollo's trust and saved him because she couldn't bear for him to die. With a contrast of opinions this wide, it's a surprise it took this long for it to come to this. But I guess before this, Chrollo's life had never been on the line, because at the end of the day, Chrollo is the Troupe no matter what he may say about the matter. And so let's talk about Chrollo himself for a bit. Chrollo's mental state has been deteriorating quite rapidly of late, and the reason is because the spider failed. He was betrayed. The spider was betrayed not once, but twice. And not only did he not see it coming, he didn't even think it possible. Hisoka was the first betrayal, one anyone could have seen coming. Even the rest of the Troupe could tell he wasn't truly one of them. But Chrollo took Hisoka at face value as the fourth leg of the spider. It's the reason why Hisoka's fake fortune plan worked, because although a normal person would assume Hisoka was a traitor, Chrollo believed he was loyal and so searched for a reason as to why he would both be loyal and also betray them. Even after the betrayal, it took Hisoka literally ripping off his tattoo to make it clear to Chrollo that he wasn't really a Troupe member. Hisoka was like Judas, the kind of person Chrollo said could not exist within the Troupe. Hisoka had an ulterior motive and joined the Troupe purely to achieve it. To a normal person, this makes sense, but to Chrollo, it never even entered his mind. As he says, what could anyone offer a member to make them betray the spider? Well, a fight with a boss would be the answer. And the worst part is, Hisoka isn't the only betrayal, there is also Pakunoda. And unlike Hisoka, who betrayed Chrollo for his own selfish desires, Paku betrayed the Troupe for the Troupe itself. Her betrayal was her selflessly giving up her own life for the sake of her childhood friends, because she didn't want anyone to die and so died hoping she'd be the end of it all. On the surface, it may seem like Paku dying for the sake of the Troupe is in line with the Troupe's thinking. But it is not the spider, the group, she is dying for, it is the individuals. The actual people she calls friends, not the spider as a collective. Her sacrifice is a testament to the fact the spider is more than just a concept, and I believe this is something Chrollo has come to understand more and more. And the breaking point is Hisoka. Hisoka betraying the Troupe was something Chrollo did not expect, but even so it is not what broke Chrollo. No, what did happened a little later. When Chrollo finally fought Hisoka in Heaven's Arena, he did so to finally rid himself of Hisoka. He did not fear for the safety of the Troupe, this was purely a personal issue. However, by using Shamrock and Cortopi's abilities, he made it, even if inadvertently, a Troupe issue. Hisoka after his loss vowed to destroy the Troupe, to destroy the thing that mattered most to Chrollo, and to start this off he murdered Shamrock and Cortopi, two legs that were without their Hatsu. Now, I'm not implying those two would have stood half a chance even if they did have their Hatsu, but the point is that they were left defenseless as a direct result of Chrollo's actions. Actions that were personal, they weren't for the Troupe. When Hisoka was just after Chrollo's life, it wasn't a problem, but now he was targeting the Troupe itself, and it was all Chrollo's fault. In the current Succession War arc, the Troupe are present on the Black Whale, and although they are planning to steal the treasures of the Karkin Empire, their number one objective is to kill Hisoka. In the past, killers of Troupe members would be welcomed into the Troupe. The lives of legs were not valued so much, revenge was needed, as shown with Chrollo's initial view of the chain user. But now the whole Troupe was being mobilised to hunt down Hisoka. By ordering such a thing, Chrollo seems to be ignoring the actual purpose of the spider. He is now using the spider as a force for his own personal feelings because he really wants Hisoka dead. But Nolanov is worried Chrollo will do something drastic, and these fears are warranted because he isn't acting as the boss, he is acting as Chrollo. It wouldn't surprise me if we get a further conflict within the spider about the nature of the Troupe, and with Franklin vs Hisoka being foreshadowed, we could get a re-exploration of the Troupe falling apart from within, and the true worst case scenario Franklin spoke of back in York New. Avenging over stealing. In a way, the Troupe are reverting back to how they initially started. Chrollo may have tried to be the boss in body and soul, but now as his childhood friends are dying around him, the true Chrollo is leaking out, the one who does care about his companions as people and wants to get revenge for their deaths. Given Chrollo's belief that the head is not any more valuable than the legs, he may well take himself out to ensure Hisoka dies too. And then we'd be left back in the same situation as York New, with a splintered Phantom Troupe. To sum up my thoughts then, the Troupe exists both as an ever-moving emotionless collective and as a family. Despite how much Chrollo may want it to just be the former, of course it is just as much the latter. and his inability to see the other side of the spider, to see not legs but people, may well lead to the destruction of the spider from within. He never wanted personal feelings mixed in, but now the spider is being led along by said emotions. Chrollo did not choose a new number 9. He let his personal feelings for Pacu override the rules of the spider and his job as its leader. And even if they before may have said otherwise, it is clear the rest of the Troupe members do care too. All of them wanting to kill Hisoka first, specifically so Chrollo doesn't have to, because they don't want Chrollo to do anything reckless. The head and now the legs, the entire spider is now moving fueled by emotion. It is a disgrace to the idea of the Phantom Troupe, but the thing is, that was always just an idea. The true reality of the spider was always this, and it's only now that the facade is crumbling, the performance is ending, and we all get to see, not villains, but the actors playing them.
And if you want to support this channel even further, then perhaps pledge to my Patreon, or consider becoming a channel member, so you can get your name at the end of the video like
Rinjack9696, Mr. Sputum, Marimo, Jack Hammer, Zolby and Eric Hinton.